And as we inhale and fall back into the mat, feel again all of those points of contact resting into the earth. And as you exhale, sliding out, getting long, reaching on the horizon, feel like you're stretching the ends of the body away from each other. And as you inhale, you release the stretch to fall back. Let your abdomen expand. Exhaling to lengthen long as opposed to reaching up. So if your back muscles feel like they're doing a lot to stretch, think of releasing them, and it's as if we were sliding along the floor to stretch. We'll just do that one last time. Inhale, release the stretch. Let all of your parts fill and expand. And exhaling, gently sliding all the way out. And then we'll circle our arms down at our sides. You can bring them onto the front of your pelvis and just feel where your hip bones are. Feel where the back of your head is between the shoulders, and notice the length of your legs. And on our following inhale, we'll reach the arms up towards the ceiling, take them up and over the head to the mat. As you exhale, circle the hands out along the mat and come down slowly. Keep the arms heavy on the mat, circle them into the seams of your body. Inhaling slowly, allowing your abdomen to fill and rise, reaching the arms up and over the head. And as you exhale, releasing into the mat like we're dropping back. Notice what you feel. Notice where you feel it, where in the body and where in the movement. We'll just do this for one more breath. And the next time that the arms are down at your sides, go ahead and keep them there. We'll drag the right heel in towards the right sitting bone, bring the left heel in as well, and just stand the feet onto the mat now. Feel the firmness of the ground under the feet. And again, notice the release through the parts that are touching the mat, the back and the front and the sides of the body. And as we inhale, we'll gently roll the tailbone into the mat and allow the knees to move away from each other just a little bit. And as we exhale, gently draw the knees in as you roll the tailbone towards the sky. You can bring the knees into each other and the feet to gently press into the mat. Inhaling, the abdomen releases, the tailbone rolls down, the knees separate just about the width of your shoulders. Exhale, the tailbone rolls towards the ceiling as the knees come in and the feet compress to help the spine roll down. Notice that the back of the head and the jaw stay heavy. And because we're only letting the knees separate to shoulder width apart, we can keep our tailbone rolling down towards the mat potentially beyond the range of the leg. And then as the tailbone curls back up towards the ceiling, notice how that starts to pull the thighs into each other. As you inhale and the tailbone rolls down towards the mat, notice how that starts to push the thighs away. And at first it might feel like it's something that you mechanically do. And the more that you can tune into the way your feet rest on the mat, the legs really letting go so that you feel your bones are just sliding back, they're resting on the mat. The movement is really the breath and the pelvis, and then the legs are just kind of starting to follow along. We'll do that for one more breath. And the next time that the knees come together and we're pressing down into the mat, we'll stay there and then release the pressure and just let the feet stand and the knees come to parallel wherever they land, more or less in line with your hips. Inhale, reach the arms up and over your head once again. Exhale and take that long yawning stretch, and we'll interlace our fingers here. Bring them to the back of the head as a pillow and allow the head to rest into your interlaced hands. Really bring the webbing of the fingers together, and notice your thumbs can slide down along the sides of your skull. They actually find the occiput. It's a little hole back there where your skull, like behind your earlobe where your skull meets your neck, kind of the narrow part of the base of the skull. Inhale while you're there. And as you exhale, let your right knee roll out to the side. Press the left foot down into the mat and start to push up and over to the right side, using the inner edge of the left foot to gently press into the ground. Relax the left shoulder and the back of your head. Inhale, let your abdomen expand. And as you feel the exhale, let the space between your shoulder blades start to roll down first. Then bring the right knee in towards the midline. Pause in the center and inhale. And as you exhale, let the left knee roll out to the side. The inner edge or the right foot pushes down, starts to lift the hip. And then as the knee goes over, the inner edge of the foot can push down to keep guiding your body over, but yet your right shoulder and back of your head stay heavy on the mat. As you release the pressure, let the upper back release down, like be mindful of letting the shoulders come back, then the rest of the body and pelvis and legs come through. Inhale in the center. Exhale to move. Press down into the foot, feel the body spiraling over. Inhale when you're there. You can exhale to release back through the chest, the upper back, bring the pelvis in, the knees come to center. Inhale in the center. Keep going. We'll do one more to each side. Be mindful to inhale when you come through center. Keep reminding the face, the eyebrows, the cheekbones, the jaw. Keep letting the head feel like it's the center that falls back. And then in that space right behind our heart, between our shoulder blades, it's kind of like that's the last point that moves. So notice again, at what point do you feel when you're spiraled over to the side that you still have contact in your upper back, the back of your head is staying in contact. And then when you're releasing back into the center, that it's that space behind the heart, that space between the shoulders, that's also consciously falling back. It's more subtle because those bones are smaller and they weigh less. Right? It's more obvious around the pelvis and the lower back and the abdomen because those bones are much bigger and they weigh a lot more. And we're going to use this little movement to eventually lie on the right side. So when you're ready, the next time you're turning to the right side, you'll bring your entire self over, stack the knees together, bring them up a little closer to your body, and get comfortable now with your Head resting on your right arm, the hands are still interlaced behind your head. And be mindful that if you're curling your upper body forward, that you bring your upper body back a little bit so that there's more of a long line between the crown of your head and your tailbone or sacrum. And on the following inhale, keep the legs heavy, let the head roll back into the hands. Keep your elbow close to your head. And if you feel tenderness when you open the elbow out to the side, then keep it in a little closer to your head. And we'll just take a few moments to breathe there. Inhale slowly and fully, let the abdomen expand. And when you feel ready, as you're exhaling, bring the elbow in close to your head, roll back onto your side, send the left elbow forward towards the mat in front of you, and again, pause to inhale there. Feel like you're breathing into that space behind your heart, between your shoulder blades and your upper back. And as you exhale and your head rolls back, notice how you're rolling back into that space between your shoulder blades behind your heart. It may not necessarily touch the ground, it's not that literal, but notice how the movement's going there. And then as you breathe, relax your abdomen. Feel how the breath rises and falls. Keep reminding your face and your jaw to relax. We'll just do this one more time. And now the next time that your left elbow is pointing forward, it's going to stay there. Inhale. And as you exhale, keep your left leg bent and slide it back so it slides along the inner edge of the right leg. Press the left foot behind you. Breathe while you're there. And then on the following breath, start to bring the left knee forward as your upper body rolls back. The left knee is going to come up and in towards your chest as you turn to look at the sky and inhale or exhale, wherever you are and your breath is fine. And then you bring your elbow in first, roll onto your side, notice the side, and then go past it where the left knee goes back and the left elbow goes forward. And we breathe. Every time you come back onto your side, notice the center where the knees are stacked, elbows are stacked, the body is stacked on its side, and then you spiral in the opposite direction. Slow it down as much as your mind needs it to get slow in order to see it more clearly. And then once it starts to get clear, notice how it can become more fluid and continuous. We'll only be here for a few moments longer. Notice your right leg. Notice the right hip. Is the outer right side working to push into the mat? Notice if you can release any of that effort as you keep going. So you feel more like you're rolling around the right side rather than using it to press into the ground. And now the next time that we turn towards the mat, we're going to stretch our leg out, bring the left hand to the mat in front of you, stretch both of the legs out, and come to lie on your stomach. So we'll just flip, reach the legs all the way out, stack the hands under the forehead so that you have a pillow for your head, and just notice the center for a breath or two. Allowing yourself to release and fall into it. And then when you feel ready, just kind of saying hello to your forehead. We'll gently roll the head over to one side, roll it back through the center, roll it over to the other side. Keep the head heavy, like a rolling pin motion. Notice the tenderness under the forehead. If there is any, if there's not. Notice the quality of the movements in your neck. Notice if your shoulders get involved, can you ask them to release a little bit? Let the chest keep falling through the shoulders so that you might roll your head in a smaller range, but it's more simply the rolling of the heavy head. And then when you're ready, go ahead and find the center with the forehead on the hands. And on the following inhale, we'll gently press the pelvis and the front of the ribs into the mat. Start lifting, hovering the head. Hover the head over the hands so you're looking at your hands. And then slowly bring your forehead down and allow everything to release. And notice your legs. And if they're wide apart, bring them in a little closer together. Inhale slowly and fully. As you exhale, gently press the pelvis down and start to slide the toes. Like you want your toenails to slide a little further away from your head. And then you start bringing the back of the head back and in line with your shoulders, maybe a little higher than your shoulders. And then your head comes down and you fully release onto your hands. Relax the effort in your legs, relax the effort in your back. Exhaling to gently press down. Feel like you're reaching long, like the crown of your head is traveling forward and your toenails are traveling towards the back wall or sliding under the back wall, better yet. When you come down, you release, you fill. As you exhale slowly, you press the front of the torso down, shoulders stay relaxed, or you have to keep rolling them wide away from each other. The elbows gently compressed down into the mat. Last one. And the next time that the forehead comes on the hands, go ahead and keep it there. Slowly bend the knees, bring the heels in towards the sitting bones, and we'll gently rock our feet from side to side. Notice the front of the pelvis and its relationship against the mat. How does it touch the mat when you move through the center? And then keep the knees bent and just stack your feet over your knees. So you bring yourself to center. And just maybe move your knees around a little bit. Just kind of lift and lower each leg to get clear on having your kneecap in line with your sitting bone. That's the idea. So you just kind of explore how that feels. Flex your ankles here. And notice if you feel little anything in your back. Inhale while you're here. And as you exhale, very, very gently, like you have a dimmer to control your movements on, gently press your pubic bone down into the mat. And notice if that creates some tone around your inner thighs, maybe the back of your thighs, maybe the front of your thigh. And then inhale and just release the pressure between the pubic bone and the mat. Let your abdomen fill. Notice the rise. And as you exhale slowly, start gently pressing the pubic bone down. And notice if it feels like it sends the heels up towards the sky. Inhale, release the pressure. Let the abdomen expand, let the body rise up. So as you exhale slowly, it's like you're slowly starting the action of sending the pubic bone down because there's such little space for us to move. In order to create a range, we need to slow it way down. And notice that the feeling of the heels pressing up is what happens relative to pushing the pubic bone down. So we're not lifting anything. We're exhaling, gently pressing the pelvis down and noticing how that creates the tone, the tension, the energy, the message into the glutes, the back and the inner, maybe the outer thighs, maybe the front of the thigh. If you don't feel the inner thighs getting that involved, then bring your knees closer together. You want to hug into the midline a little bit more. Last time. And then you'll release the legs, lengthen them all the way back out. Let everything release. And for a moment again, roll the head from side to side. And we'll use this rolling from side to side motion to, when we're ready, stretch the left arm up over the head and roll onto your left side now. Bring your knees close to your chest and interlace your hands behind your head. And so again, we want to feel that the left side of the body is pretty long. If we're curled forward, if we're looking down at our thighs, we'll bring our head and our shoulders back a little bit. And when you feel ready, keep the legs heavy, let the head roll back into the hands, exploring this book opening on the other side. And again, if it's intense, if there's like, whoa, that's a lot of sensation, then come in away from it a little bit. Bring the elbow in a little bit closer and hang out right before it becomes too intense. And when you feel ready, bring the elbow in next to your head, rolling back onto your left side, sending the right elbow forward. And again, inhaling into that space behind your heart, between your shoulder blades, coming up between your breastbones, your clavicles, your collarbones, and rolling back. Follow your own pace, which is set by the speed of your breath. Be mindful of releasing through your abdomen, releasing around your groin, your thighs, feeling that the legs are a weight. And when you feel ready, when your right elbow, your top elbow is rolling forward, you'll pause there. Keep the right knee bent and start sliding it back. So it slides along the bottom leg, reaching for the space behind. And then you'll bring your knee back in as your upper body rolls to the sides. Find the side and then roll past it. So your head rolls back and your right knee keeps traveling in and up. And then your right elbow comes in, roll back onto the side. The knee goes back as the elbow goes forward. And breathe. And again, notice the activity of your left leg. Does the left leg or the left shoulder, the shoulders in general, feet, do they feel like they need to work or press or push? And keep reminding your body that it's lying on its side and we're just exploring the rolling motion over the left side. It's like we're closing the left shoulder when we roll forward, opening the right hip when the foot presses back. And then we're bringing the right knee into the chest, holding the front of the right hip as we open the left shoulder. We'll just do this for 1 or 2 more breaths. Take your time with it. And the next time that you're turning to look up towards the sky, to open your chest towards the sky, you'll bring your right knee over with you so that it helps to roll you onto your back. Hands will come onto the knees and just give yourself a gentle squeeze and gently rock from side to side. And notice how that feels. Keep the back of the head and the jaw relaxed. And we'll turn this into a small circle, circling the knees together, hands supporting the knees, circling around your sacrum. So notice on the back side of your body, down in your pelvis, that as you draw a circle around, you're staying on the bony aspect of the pelvis. Notice where you inhale, notice where you exhale. And every now and then reverse the direction of the circle. And ask yourself if you can keep sensing that feeling of weight. Sometimes when we start to move, it's like there's this feeling of wanting to lift up and lift up away from the ground. Keep reminding the body that it can fall back. The movement can become smaller, whatever needs to happen so that you keep experiencing that feeling of letting things settle back. And then when we feel ready, we're going to find our center and hug the knees in one last time. Notice how that'll lift your tailbone. It separates the sitting bones. It might pull on the back of the neck. And then bring the feet down and onto the mat and let the arms rest at your sides. Turn your palms open towards the sky. The feet are about hip width apart in line with the sitting bones. Feel the toes, bless you, feel the width of the metatarsal, feel the heels. And as you inhale, feel yourself expanding. On your following exhale, gently press the feet into the ground to help roll the pelvis back. We're going to pick and peel up into bridge. Rolling up, notice how the tissues on your back feel. Come up as high as it feels comfortable and take a breath. And then gently rolling down through that space between the shoulder blades, the back of the heart, the back of the ribs. And now, just like we did in the very beginning, inhale and send the tailbone down and only let the knees move out of the tailbone's way. So don't let the knees drop all the way out. It's just like the knees are saying, oh yeah, I acknowledge that when my tailbone rolls down, it promotes a little external rotation. And then as the knees roll back in, the tailbone curls up, push down into the feet and peel yourself back up into a bridge where the knees are staying narrow, where the tail is staying curled up into the space beyond your kneecaps. Then you gently roll down, and it's like as we're approaching the tail, the tailbone is unrolling and moving now, rolling in the opposite direction towards the earth. And it's like it parts the seas between the knees. It gently rolls them apart. The tailbone curls up. That pulls the thighs together. And then the thighs or the feet push down to get you up. And ask the thighs to wait for the pelvis. So when your pelvis is on the mat and it's moving, keep your knees together-ish. Let the tailbone start rolling towards the mat, and then it's like the knees get pulled, and then let the tailbone curl back, and then again, the knees get pulled, the feet press down, and we roll up. Keep the knees narrow, keep the tailbone reaching through them. Last one. And now the next time that we're up in our bridge, we're going to stay up here, bring our hands onto our pelvis, and just notice the feeling of pushing down into the pelvis. Bring the elbows in closer to your ribs and push down into the back of your elbows, and then push down into the back of your head. So it feels like your ribs are now lifting up higher. You're gonna let them expand. Let it feel like the back goes into an arch. So our breastbone, our chest bone is moving towards our chin, and yet the back of the head is reaching into the mat, reaching away from the chest. And now from here, as we exhale, reach the hands straight up for the ceiling, so you can feel the back of your shoulder blades connect to the mat differently. And then bring the back of your heart down, bring the middle of your back down, bring your sacrum down. Inhale, reach the arms over your head. Arch the spine away from the mat and get long. Interlace the fingers as you exhale to bring them under the back of your head. Point your elbows towards the ceiling. You're inhaling. And on the following exhale, the ribs will press back. Keep your sacrum heavy on the mat as you start curling up to look through your thighs. And you really want to feel like your head is resting back into the basket of your interlaced fingers. Roll the head back down. Reach the arms back up and over the head, long arms overhead. As you exhale, again, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. So straight up to the ceiling, elbows bend, fingertips to the sky. And now we're going to push into the 5 corners here, which are the 2 elbows, the 2 feet, and the back of the head. That makes 5 corners. Push down into all 5 at the same time. Lift your bridge up. And try and come up as high as it feels comfortable and safe onto like that upper ridge behind the shoulder blade. Inhale while you're there. Push down into the feet and the back of the head. And now rest into the upper shoulders and reach the hands for the ceiling. We're going to roll down through that space between the shoulder blades, through the rib cage. Reach the arms back up over the head once the sacrum is down on the mat. Interlace the fingers, bring them behind the head, point the elbows towards the sky, shoulder blades move away from each other. And as you exhale, leave the low ribs in the mat, curling up to look through your knees. Notice if your sacrum stays heavy. When you're exhaling, notice you're pushing all the air out as you're curled up. Like you want to squeeze the back ribs into the earth to get yourself up and around yourself. Your head comes back down, the arms reach back up and over. Take the hands again to the ceiling, pause, feel the back of the shoulders, the back of the head on the mat, bend the elbows, slide them down. It's like what we do in Cobra or in prone press up, where the elbows are reaching towards the feet, but here they're reaching back into the mat. Push down into the elbows, the feet and the head, lift up. And you can use the elbows to leverage your feet in the back of your head to get up higher on the back of your shoulder. You just want to notice, like if you go, if you make some noise or try and sing, your throat, your voice box is open. You're not compressing the throat. And then you reach the hands for the ceiling and you roll back down between the space and the upper back. Take the arms back up and over the head. Breathe and stretch, interlace fingers, grab the back of the head, elbows to the sky. When you feel ready and you're exhaling, again, sliding the low ribs back. It's like your ribs want to slide back into the earth and travel along the horizon behind you. The higher your head goes, the more you think of the wave of the ribs moving back. Last time, curl the head back down, reach the arms back up and over the head, take them back up towards the ceiling. So we're just like replaying everything. Bend the elbows, feet, head push down, lift up, come up to the top of the shoulders, check in with your voice, back of the head pushing into the mat, your feet pressing down to help send your breastbone towards your chest, rather your breastbone towards your chin. Again, reach the hands for the ceiling now, so you're more weighted on your shoulders, your head and your feet, and then roll down through your upper back. Bring it all the way to the earth. Inhale, arms over the head. Stretching long. Last time, interlace the fingers, grab the back of the head, curl the elbows up. When you're exhaling, roll back in the ribs to curl up into chest lift. Now this time we're going to stay curled up here and float the legs in towards the chest. Bring the knees in kind of close so that your lower back is resting on the mat, and bring the hands behind your knees. Exhale and push the knees away from you so that now your arms have something to hold you up against. Keep your legs pushing away and imagine that your legs just fell into like a mold. They're being held here, they're staying there, they're fixed. Bring the left hand over to the right knee. Exhale, try and pull yourself up and around the right side of your rib cage. Bring your left hand back to center and switch sides. Right hand to the left thigh. Push the left thigh away so you've got something to pull yourself up and around here. Come back to the center, both hands on the knees. Roll the head all the way back down, knees into the chest, and gently rock from side to side. And so when we're doing these things where our head is curled up, it's important to feel the front of the throat. You might feel your deep flexors in your neck in the front of your throat. And it's even more important to not feel anything in the back of your neck. So if you feel anything in the back of your neck, that's your body telling you, put your head down. Okay, so listen to that. That will not get stronger. The front of the throat will, right? Because we're flexing the spine, and there your throat, your neck is part of your spine. So you want to feel like it's like the abs of your neck, if you will. You want to feel those, but we don't want to feel strain in the back of the neck. And we're going to bring our legs back up into tabletop, grab behind the knees, make sure you can see your toes. Inhale while you're here. And as you exhale, start to push the legs away from you. Press the low ribs down, lift your head, and rock all the way up to sitting. Inhale when you get up there, sitting up and tall. And as we exhale, we're going to roll back in our pelvis. Let the arms straighten. Keep the feet as heavy as possible for as long as possible as you roll down. We're just going to repeat our assisted roll up. And if you need to use momentum to get up and around, be mindful that you're waiting to be almost completely done with your exhale to give it the push on the way up. When you come down, you can hug the knees into the chest so it starts to lift the tailbone away from the mat. And then as you exhale, think of it starting again from the legs. So that idea again of doing things in one direction and then replaying the same thing in the opposite direction. So you finish hugging legs in, and then you start pushing legs out, then it travels up. Ribs push back, head curls up, and then you press. Last time. The next time that we're sitting up tall, we're going to stay up there. And we'll just sit and cross our legs a comfortable way. Crisscrossing the legs, just notice how you feel. Don't judge yourself if that felt sticky. It's probably one of my stickiest roll-ups this year. And we're going to circle around the pelvis. And then we'll circle around in the opposite direction. And now as we're circling around in the seated position, also noticing, are we able to stay heavy? Can we relax the abdomen? And when I ask it, it's like right away, I have to slow down to get heavier. And every now and then, reverse the direction of your circle. If you feel areas of tenderness in your back as you're doing this, try and avoid them. Bring the circle in smaller. So we stay closer to center, unless that's where we feel any intense sensation, then go wider. Every now and then, reverse the direction of the circle. And then we'll just have a seat in the center, and we'll bring our feet out in front of us and our hands behind, so that our hands are turned, fingertips are turned to the back of the mat. Walk your feet in as close as it feels comfortable for your hips and yourself in general. We're going to take both knees to one side and look away from the knees and inhale. Exhale, bring the head and the knees back to center. Notice the feet standing into the floor. Notice your hands, your feet, and your sitting bones here. And then take both knees to the other side and look up and over the other shoulder and inhale. Exhale in the center. Wait for the exhale to be done. Inhale to the side. And keep going. And if you feel your body slides as you go along, just keep making yourself a little more compact. It's like you just keep bringing things into that central point. Last time to each side. And now the next time that our knees fall to our left side, we're going to keep them there. And we're going to bring our right hand around, stack the knees as best as you can so that it feels like, if you're familiar with the Cleopatra exercise called Cleopatra, where the knees are stacked, your left hand is on the mat, and just notice your left shoulder, fall into it, let yourself slouch into your left arm, and then press away from it. And you want to scoot not too far away from your left hand, but it's like when you press down through the left hand that you feel like you're comfortable on your right hip, but yet you're still depending on your left arm. And we're going to inhale, reach the right arm out to the side, and then lift the arm up and over the head. So we're doing a small side bend over the left arm, and it's small because of the position that our legs are in. We're just going to reach up and over. Keep pressing the left hand down into the ground and be gentle. Like if you feel sensation in your shoulder, then don't push any further. Just feel the sensation of pushing the ground away to lift the top armpit up. And then we'll bring the top arm down, grab our right shin, pull ourselves up with our right shin now, and bring the left arm up and over. And at first, just think about reaching long. Breathe while you're there. Notice if you can sense the opening on the seam of your body. If you don't feel the seam too much, think about bringing the right side of the ribs forward a little bit and maybe looking up. And then we'll bring our left hand down. Again, it's like you lean out, anchor in, reach the right arm up and over. But we're still thinking more about this diagonal between the left wrist shooting up out of the right armpit. And we can turn the head and look up and under our right arm. Inhale. And then again, exhale, bring the right hand up, hook onto your shin, pull yourself up, and then reach straight for the sky. Noticing the sensation on the seam, and then right out of it. Bring the left hand down, right arm reaches up, push down with the left arm. We'll do that one more time. Bring the right hand down, reach up, and then left hand down, right arm up. We're going to turn into quadruped. So right hand in front, come onto your knees, flip right over, square yourself off, and we'll do a bit of cat-cow. And just breathe in the way that feels the most intuitive, the most natural as you move through your spine. Again, if you're still having a lot of sensation, just notice it and be mindful of not pushing into it too much. Right? Sometimes it's like you might stretch in a direction and you're like, oh, I feel so much there. It kind of, I can't even tell if it's pain or not. And we push further because we're curious to see what it is. And it's like, let's just notice that it's there and then move away from it. And we'll do one more. And now this time, find the center point so we're not rounding or arching. Move your right knee over to your left knee. Your right hand now is going to be your anchor. We're going to sit on the outside of the right hip. Bring the left arm down at the side. And again, let's just slouch into the right shoulder, let it slide up, and then push it away. And if it doesn't feel like right, move the right hand further out. And we haven't done a lot of things in this position. So if it's just kind of a foreign position and you're not even sure, then move your hand further out. Do what you fidget around, offer yourself some options so that you can start to form an opinion. And then the next time, when it feels good, you're on the outside of the right hip, push the mat away and keep that feeling of growing tall and out of the right arm pressing down. Inhale, reach your left arm up and alongside of your head. And again, keep pushing with the heel of the right hand down so that rather than reaching out of your left fingertips, make it feel like you want to reach out of your left armpit. Your right hand is drawing a line to send energy out of your left armpit, and your eyes can look in that direction as well. And then we're going to take our left arm down, grab the outside of the left shin, pull yourself up, reach the right hand up to the sky. And again, think of going straight up towards the sky. You can look up if that feels helpful. If not, just look straight ahead. And then again, bring the right hand back out, down, lift the left arm up alongside of the head, push the ground away with the right arm, look under your left arm, and notice the line that is traveling across the heart, through the chest and out of the armpits. And then again, the left arm comes down, the left hand grabs the top of the left foot, the right arm floats up. And is the pelvis still heavy? Are the thighs still heavy? Think of your waist, like from the waist down, the energy rolls into the earth so that we have something to stand on top of. And then again, the right hand comes out, over and down. Left arm comes up, last time. Looking under the left arm. Feel like you're opening through the left armpit. And then the left hand comes down. We grab the left shin. The right arm reaches up as the pelvis drops down. And again, not too intense, not really stretching as much as you can. Just noticing that feeling of the more the pelvis drops down, the more sensation you might even find. And then we'll bring our right hands to the mat, bring the left hands to the mat, and come into quadruped again, just floating right up onto your knees. This time, big open palms under the shoulders, thumbs kind of close together, knees close together, feet come together. Take both feet over to the right side, look up and over the right shoulder. Inhale to center and go to the other side. And just keep going. One more time to each side. Notice what your shoulders feel like. And then come back to the center. And maybe bring your hands even a little closer together, a little further under your chest. If you already feel like they're really under you, then don't. Tuck your toes under, sit back and stretch the toes. We're going to keep our hands and feet in the position that they're in right now. And as we exhale, curl the tailbone towards the knees, round your spine, and then push the floor away. Let the shoulders glide up to your ears as you straighten your knees and send the heels back towards the earth. And then you'll bend your knees, come forward, untuck the toes, and just sit back into child's pose. So when we're in child's pose, we want to feel like we're using the arms to help push the body back. And you can round the spine, inhale and exhale. And then when you feel ready, float back up onto your hands, tuck your toes under again, sit back, look into yourself, and then straighten your legs out. And as you're straightening the legs out, feel how it lengthens, it opens the spine. And then when you bend your knees, you come back down, untuck the toes, sit back into child's pose. Notice how that rounds or curves, creates a different curve in the spine. You can really round your spine when you're in child's pose, right? Especially if the hands stay in the same place. So come back into quadruped. Bring the hands, if they moved, back under the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Sit back to stretch the toes. Push through your hands to get the knees off. As you reach your heels down, you can also lift your tailbone up. So it feels like you're sticking out your butt a little bit. And then you bend your knees, keep your hands where they are, come down through quadruped, untuck your feet, keep your hands where they are when you sit back into child's pose. And breathe. Exhale, glide forward, tuck the toes, glide back. And up with the tail, keep the knees bent if it's very intense. Exhale, glide forward and down, quadruped, tops of the feet to the floor. Sit back, keep the hands in the same place. Keep going. Notice your breath. If there are any pauses between inhales and exhales, be mindful of them. Ask them to get smaller. Sometimes those moments in between breaths and those moments where we're most uncomfortable, we will find the holds, we'll find the pause or the interruption in the breath. Last one. And the next time that we're in the downward dog position, we're going to hold ourselves there. Bend one knee, stretch the opposite heel down, and then switch. Keep letting your head dangle through your arms. Keep your palms really open. The shoulders can gently press up towards the ears to encourage sending the tailbone up. Just be mindful that the head and the face are relaxed. And then we'll start walking our feet towards our hands. Walking them up towards the hands. And once they get there, bend your knees. Sit down into a low squat, as low as you can go. We're going to put our hands on our knees, exhale, and we're going to sit down as gracefully as we can. Sit or plop down. And now as we inhale, we'll sit tall. Exhale, rounding the spine here, looking down towards our ankles, and come behind your sitting bones. And as you exhale now, you're going to float one leg up and then float the other leg up so that you find this cool balanced position behind the sitting bones, the shins pushing up into your hands. And on your following exhale, we're going to rock back. And you don't necessarily want your head to touch the mat. It's okay if it touches, but it's more about rocking back into that space between our shoulder blades that we were in bridging. So you exhale and rock back, and it's like right away, you're rocking up. Keep your gaze in, and keep pressing the shins away from you. One more. You can use your feet to help the rock, or you can tighten the ball up a little bit more so that your feet don't help you. And if it's like, oh, this is hard enough, then let the feet help you. Right? What that means is when you rock back, you don't let the feet travel. They try and stay in the same place as if we were holding something with our heels and the back of our thighs. Now, the next time we sit, we'll rest, bring the feet to the mat, stretch the legs all the way out, and just notice how it feels. Bend your knees to sit up on the sitting bones. Right? If it's available with straight legs, then keep the legs straight. If not so much, then bend your knees so you can really be up on your sitting bones. Reach the hands out in front now as you inhale. And as you exhale, start to roll your pelvis back off of your legs. As you curl down, your legs will straighten out. Send the back of the thighs down into the ground as you roll back. Inhale, reach the arms back up and over your head. And as you exhale, you're going to roll back up to sitting. If you need to use assisted roll up to do that, then go for it. And it's okay to get stuck. Be mindful in the area that you're getting stuck, that you slow down, use more of an exhale and less momentum. You're better off just like slowing down through there than forcefully going through there. And now the next time that we curl down, we're going to stay down, bring the arms next to the chest. Exhaling, bring the right leg up into tabletop, then bring the left leg up into tabletop. Notice that your back is on the mat. We're going to move the arms a little further away out to the sides. Notice that the ankle bones are together here, that they're touching, and the inner aspects of your feet are as well. Your knees can be slightly apart. As you exhale, lift the back of your left hip off of the mat, keep your ankles together, and take your legs over to the right side just a little bit, just enough to still be like on the outer edge of the right sacrum. Then bring the legs back to center, inhale, and then exhale, think of the back of the right hip coming off and over, just to balance you on the inner aspect of your left sacrum. Your ankles are still together. So make it small. Inhale in the center, exhale to the side. Inhale in the center, exhale to the side. Last one. And now this time, bring the hands to the knees, bring the knees towards your armpits, and you can reach out for the outer edges of your feet, happy baby, grabbing the outer edges of your feet with your knees bent. Your knees will have to bend in order to grab the outer edges of your feet. And it's like maybe 90 degrees between the ankle and the knee, and maybe there's less, and that's okay. Maybe it's a little more closed, that's fine. As you exhale, pull down on one foot and let that rock you to that side, and then pull down on the other foot and let that rock you to the other side. We're just gonna rock ourselves from side to side this way. And breathe. Relax your jaw, relax your face, relax your head. And when you feel ready, pause in the center, bring the soles of the feet together, holding on to the outsides of the feet. Inhale while you're here. And as you exhale, you'll bring your feet down to the mat, stretch the legs all the way out. Let the palms turn open towards the sky again, and just allow everything to release. Close your eyes if they're not closed already. We're just going to take a few moments in Shavasana. Shavasana literally means corpse pose. Corpse pose. It's the ultimate surrender. And so our bodies are like sponges, and we're giving it lots of information. It's magnified, as we spoke about this week. Tomorrow's the full moon. So we're just going to take a few moments to close our practice in Shavasana today. Just feel what you might sense, just notice. If your mind starts to wander, that's the nature of the mind. Just notice it and then bring it back into your body by noticing your breath, noticing the points of contact that you feel, noticing any sensations that your body provides. And as you inhale slowly and fully, choose a color to visualize your breath. Noticing as you're drawing the breath in, this color expanding inside of your body. And as you exhale, allowing it to seep out. If you find any areas that are asking for a little more attention, anything that is pulling on your consciousness, pulling on your awareness, as you inhale, visualize this color, breathing it in, flooding the area or areas of yourself. And as you exhale, feeling a cleansing, feeling a sense of letting go. When you feel ready, you can start moving your fingertips and your toes. If your body's asking for movement, go for it. Otherwise, when you're ready, just come to lie on your side. And keeping your eyes closed for just a little longer, let's explore coming up to sitting this way with the eyes closed. And on our following inhale, we'll reach our arms out to the sides, up and over the head. Look up, spread your fingers. You can hook your thumbs together, pull your shoulders up. If it feels safe for the shoulder, pull them behind your head. Let your head come forward through your arms. And just feel yourself like your shoulder blades are lifting your ribs up off of your low back. And then bring your hands into prayer. Let them come down in front of your chest. And just let yourself bow down, let your head come down. Feeling a moment of gratitude, of reverence for your body, for its intelligence, of humility, right? So humble when we pause and acknowledge the great mystery that is life. Thank you guys so much for being here. Namaste. I'm curious to hear how your backs feel after that.